Spending $3 grand on a 2-week sports event isn't just a fun summer expense. It's actually wiping out exactly $41,600 of your future net worth. Let me show you the math. It's a Tuesday night, maybe 11:30 p.m. You're lying in bed, staring at your phone, the blue light just bouncing off your face in the dark. You're scrolling through ticket portals or flight packages for the upcoming World Cup. Your chest feels a little tight. The numbers are absurd. $300 for a nosebleed seat where you can barely see the grass. $1,000 for a flight. But you keep scrolling because you tell yourself it's once in a lifetime. Or maybe not once in a lifetime, but it's a global event. Everyone is going. Your friends from college just booked an Airbnb. You can't be the only one sitting at home, right? That's the trap. We're incredibly good at justifying financial self-sabotage when it's wrapped in a flag or a national jersey. The unspoken problem here is that we treat these cultural moments as if they exist outside the laws of basic economics, but they don't. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how these global events operate as highly optimized wealth extraction machines aimed directly at the middle class. And I'll show you how to actually experience the moment without resetting your financial life to zero. There is one specific biological glitch that you use to force your hand at checkout, even when your stomach is in knots. But we'll get to the anatomy of that trap in a minute. Look, I get it. I really do. You work 40, maybe 50 hours a week. You sit in grinding traffic. You deal with a boss who, frankly, doesn't respect your time or your energy. So when a massive cultural moment arrives, you want to feel alive. You want the memories. You want to feel like you are part of something bigger than your commute. But this isn't an accident. It's a design feature. The system is perfectly fine with you saving $5 on a grocery coupon, because it knows that economy leaves you exhausted, and an exhausted mind is highly susceptible to the experience economy. They don't want you to calculate the friction. They design the checkout flow to be frictionless precisely because your logic is their greatest enemy. You aren't turning your brain off. They are systematically blinding it. We just swipe the card. We figure, I'll make the money back. Well, actually, you won't. Not really. Because the math of a middle-class income doesn't allow for an unpunished 4-figure emotional purchase. The hangover from this doesn't last a weekend. It lasts a decade. Let's ground this in reality. No hypotheticals. Real numbers. Let's say you're a young professional. You're doing okay. You make about $65,000 a year. On paper, that sounds solid. You feel like you should have disposable income. But you and I both know paper doesn't pay the rent. After taxes, healthcare premiums, and maybe some minor retirement contributions, so you don't feel entirely irresponsible, your actual take-home pay is roughly $4,200 a month. Now the fixed expenses, the things that keep you alive and employed. Rent is $1,600. Car payment, insurance, and gas, that's easily $600. Groceries, utilities, maybe a basic internet package and your phone bill, another $800. So $3,000 is gone before you even wake up on the first of the month. You have $1,200 left. That $1,200 is your actual financial oxygen. That's for savings, dates, emergencies, replacing your worn-out shoes, and, actually building a life. Now let's look at the World Cup. You decide to do a budget version of the trip. You're not going crazy. You split an overpriced Airbnb with 3 friends. That's $600. Flights, $700. 2 match tickets, if you're lucky, $800. Then there's the reality of being there. The $18 stadium beers, the $40 Ubers because public transit is overwhelmed and practically a nightmare, the merch you buy because you're caught up in the energy, the food. Conservatively, very conservatively, you spend $3,000. Look at the math. $3,000. You only have $1,200 of disposable income a month. You just spent 2.5 months of your entire financial existence on a long weekend. You traded 75 days of sitting in a cubicle, of answering passive-aggressive emails, of grinding through your 20s or 30s for exactly 180 minutes of soccer. If you have the $3 grand in cash right now, that is the true price of admission. $41,000 of your future autonomy gone. If you put that $3,000 into a basic S&P 500 index fund instead, generating a historical average return of around 9% over the next 30 years, that $3,000 becomes $41,600. You are trading $40,000 of your 50s for a blurry weekend in your 20s. But let's be honest, most people scrolling at midnight don't have $3,000 sitting in a checking account, so they swipe the plastic. And that is where the math goes from tragic to predatory. At a standard 24% APR, making just the minimum payments on that once-in-a-lifetime weekend means you will spend the next 4 years paying back a total of nearly $5,000 for matches you can barely remember. You aren't just trading your future wealth. You are actively renting your current life from a bank. You are quite literally paying for last summer's dopamine hit with next winter's anxiety. It's exhausting, and it's exactly how the system is designed to work. The core flaw in how we view money is that we treat it like a static resource. We think a dollar is a dollar, but it's not. Money is time. And more importantly, money is momentum. When a massive event like the World Cup rolls around, the entire economy shifts into a specialized gear. Airline algorithms detect the search volume and spike prices by 300%. Hotels institute mandatory 4-night minimum stays. The system knows that your tribalism, your deep human need to belong to the group, to wear the colors, to be part of the moment, completely overrides your basic financial logic. Remember that biological glitch I mentioned earlier? This is it. Psychologically, they are weaponizing FOMO. Fear of missing out isn't just a catchy acronym. Your brain literally perceives social exclusion as physical pain. So when you see the WhatsApp group filling up with plans and itinerary screenshots, your amygdala starts firing. You aren't buying a ticket to a game anymore. You're paying a ransom to not feel left behind by your own peers. And the psychological toll right now is even worse than the financial one. When you wipe out your savings for an event or bury yourself in credit card debt, you reset your financial momentum back to zero. You go back to living paycheck to paycheck. You lose your leverage. If your boss yells at you the Monday after the tournament, you have to just sit there and take it because you have no cushion. You need that next paycheck desperately just to cover the minimum payment. You traded your freedom for an experience, and now the system owns you again. So, how do we fix this? How do you actually live a good life without, becoming a miserable hermit who just stares at a spreadsheet all day in the dark? You have to shift your narrative. Right now, the middle class genuinely believes that participating in luxury events is a sign of success. We think that sitting in row Z of a massive stadium means we finally made it. Let's do an anti-glamour reality check. Here is what that $3,000 actually buys you. You will stand in line for 45 minutes just to use a filthy bathroom. You will eat lukewarm stadium food that costs the exact same as a sit-down steak dinner. You will watch tiny, ant-sized people run around a field hundreds of yards away, and you'll end up watching the Jumbotron anyway just to see what actually happened. Your feet will ache. You will be dehydrated. You will fight for a surge-priced Uber at 1 a.m. Now, contrast that with the wealthy. The truly wealthy don't finance their experiences through consumer debt. They don't stretch their monthly cash flow to buy a ticket. The wealthy own the stadium. They own the broadcasting rights. They're sitting in the corporate box writing the entire trip as a business expense. They're getting richer while you're getting poorer. The reframe is this. True luxury isn't a $3,000 weekend. True luxury is peace of mind. It's the physical sensation of your shoulders dropping because you know you have 6 months of expenses sitting quietly in a high-yield savings account. It's the ultimate ability to say no to things that don't actually serve you. Instead of burning 3 months of your disposable income, invite your friends over. Buy $100 worth of incredible food. Get some good drinks. Watch the game in 4K on a screen where you can actually see the expressions on the players' faces. You still get the tribalism. You still get the memories. But Monday morning, your net worth is intact. Your credit card is clear. You still have your leverage. We're constantly sold this idea that life is measured by peak experiences.
that if you're not doing something incredibly expensive and highly documentable for the internet, you're just existing. It's a lie. It's a marketing slogan meticulously designed to separate you from your capital. The reality is that a good life is mostly quiet. It's built on hundreds of boring, rational decisions that compound over time. It's built on realizing that you don't have to participate in the financial circus just because the tent happens to be pitched in your town. The World Cup will happen. Someone will win, someone will lose. The confetti will fall. But when the stadium lights turn off, the corporations will pack up their billions, and everyone else will go home to their credit card statements. You get to choose which side of that transaction you want to be on. Enjoy the game, just don't let it bench your future. Look at your own banking app right now. What is the single most extensive experience you financed in the last 5 years that you are still paying for today? Drop just the name of the event or the item in the comments below. Nothing else. Let's see what this illusion is actually costing us.